All right, welcome to Startup Hacks. So I'm sure everybody's been talking about DeepSeek. You're all wondering about AI, and I know there's a burning question in all of your minds. Can you get this to run on a Raspberry Pi? Well, of course, I'm a total nerd, and I've been trying to do all this stuff on embedded AI, and you know I'm a huge fan of small language models. So, of course, when DeepSeek released and had a 1.5 billion input model, you know I was going to dive in and jump on that and see if I can get that to work. So, I'm going to go through a pretty transparent video with you guys here. Definitely going to be winging it a little bit, but let's dive in, and I'll tell you about what I found when I try to run DeepSeek on my Raspberry Pi, and including with some AI hardware on there. Let's dive in. All right, welcome to Startup Hack. I'm Spencer Thomason here at Startup Hack. We love to train software developers in our licensed coding boot camps, as well as to build custom software solutions for companies. With over a decade of executive leadership as a fractional CTO and 25 years in software development, I've mastered transforming tech teams and products. All right, so DeepSeek comes out, rattles everybody's cages. But of course, for me, what's the first thing I'm looking for is, open source LLM. What's their smallest model? And of course, what is it? 1.5 billion inputs. So I'm super excited about that. And so, of course, I go and try to look, and I'm like, woohoo, 1.5 billion model. We all know that I love small AI models because this, I think, is where really the future is. You can show me all your big, fancy, fat AI models that maybe like 20 different companies have enough money out there to actually run on, or you can show me some really cool stuff that I can get running at my house to write with my developers and myself onto, right? So one of the very first things that I dove in was to take a look at these and did this. So I went out and started looking for some AI hardware because I knew there was some out there and I'd run across some of this before. So this is an AI kit, right? And it comes with, and so it has the Helios chip, right? The AL accelerator with up to 13 TOPS, right? Trillion operations per second. Comes with this hat. So what this is an M.2 slot that goes into the M.2, expansion board, and then this goes in, and then the AI chip goes into the M.2 slot. So I was pretty excited by this because it's compatible with Raspberry Pi, or already got one of those, right? Now I want to get my hands on one of the 16 gig models, but the one we're using for today's demo is the 8 gigabyte model, right? So I'm using an 8 gigabyte model. So, of course, I excitedly wait for it to come, and I took some pictures here so we could go through my unboxing with you guys today. So you got my dusty old Raspberry Pi 5 over here that we've done some demos on before. So if you haven't liked and subscribed to the channel, make sure you go and do that because I teach tons about coding and also about hacking a lot of this stuff together. So it comes with these riser posts. This, I've already put the AI chip into here. Sorry, y'all. And then also these riser pins for your GPIO boards. Another picture, a little more close-up picture of the chipset itself with the M.2 seated into the board, right, into the M.2 hat. And just for any of those of you who are wondering here, these are a bunch of really cute puppies because we love puppies, right? And these are actually some of our puppies right now. My wife actually produces high-end Labradoodle puppies, so I knew everybody wanted to know about puppies. Anyways, so I took the board here and started to build these out. And so I attached the board, these riser posts, and this is with all of it attached. Give you some good detailed view here, right? So you can see my fan still runs underneath there. When this starts running, you will hear this thing spin up, right? You'll hear the CPU fan definitely start to spin up as it tries to cool this off. This is a picture of the ribbon cable coming from the M.2 hat down to the board here. And you can see I am running with just a really fast, I went with the actual fastest compact flash card that I could find. I don't really find that I/O is really the bottleneck on the card. Eventually I could probably upgrade and we could probably do one of these that have two hats where you're running an actual M.2 plus this, right? I think that's just the other side of the board, and here's the top view of it, right? So this is what it would look like so that we could still access some of these other ports as well. So this gives you kind of a good view of what the board looks like. So let's dive into what everybody really wants to know is how it performed. All right, so I'm logged into my Raspberry Pi here, right? And, not much that I can like show you it running, like it just runs. So it's sitting over here on the desk beside me, but I'm SSH'd into it here. And if you want to see how I've set it up, I think there's about 1 trillion different, Raspberry Pi. So the tutorials out there. So go get yours set up. I just use a standard default Raspberry Pi. From here, you download and install Ollama, right? Which we all use, Ollama list. So these are the models that I have out here, and these are what we're going to show you and demonstrate today. We're not going to go into the Llama 3.2, Phi, Tiny Llama, We've talked about these before. Go check out my previous videos. Make sure you like and subscribe. All right, so we're going to talk today about the Ollama 1.5, right? And I'm going to run this guy in verbose mode, right? So you can see what it's running here. So that came back pretty quick, right? That wasn't too bad. I mean, this is, again, running on something that's over here beside me that's about this big and uses about, less energy than my laptop, right? So why is the sky blue? Okay, so you get a couple thinks, right? So that's not too bad, right? That's coming back pretty quick. Even in your faster models, especially on these, it's going to come back pretty quick. But I actually still was a little bit disappointed that it wasn't coming back faster. Now, you probably can't hear it over here, but that the Raspberry Pi is over here spinning up. I don't think my cable would reach over to the camera, but so this coming here, and I'm doing this real time and talking through this just so you can kind of even see. I could pause the video and then show you, but ultimately here you're seeing that we're running just under 9 tokens per second, right? So the eval rate is 9 tokens per second. I'm like, that's still quite a bit lower. So as I went out to do my research, it turns out that the NPU or neural processing unit that is on these boards actually don't support Ollama or Llama CPP. So I actually spent some time and tried to compile down Llama CPP and actually doesn't support them. So this is actually just running basically off of the bare metal CPU. So they're actually pretty good, right? So let's get a little bit crazy here though, because, whoops, not byte. Let's get a little crazy here and let's try to run the 7 billion model, right? So if we go to Hugging Faces here, let me get that Hugging Faces up. So actually when I go to Ollama and I look at the model here, right, Ollama's says that we've got a 1.5 billion parameter and a 7 billion parameter and then the 8 billion and 14. I know a lot of people are reporting that the 14 really seems to be where things cross over, but you're gonna have to have a 24 gigahertz graphic, or excuse me, 24 gigabytes VRAM graphics card or something around, a pretty solid amount of RAM if you're going to try to run it with a server software and RAM. I think most people find that the simplest way is to do this with a $1,000 graphics card, which the 24 gig graphics card right now is a 3090, seems to be the best one. And you can do that. So I'm going to actually make another video about how I get that to run off my Raspberry Pi, but that's a different day because I'm not that much of a glutton for punishment. So what we're going to do here is actually try out the 7 billion because that's our next sized ones, right? So I've already pulled down the 7 billion model, which is 4.7 gigs. So let's try this now with the 7 billion model and let's see what our benchmarks are, right? And this one I'm probably going to speed up because this one will take a little bit of time. So I'll probably pause the video and show you guys what the benchmarks results, because even just starting up the 7 billion model is taking me definitely much longer than the 1.5 billion model. All right, so that did take it about a full 3 minutes to get that started up. So now that it's started up, and I'm going to do the same thing. Why is the sky blue? Now, this may be cheating because I've already answered this. So let's try to think of another good reason. How are cats and dogs different? That's a good question here. So let's see how long this is going to take. I'm definitely going to pause this and let this come back here in a second. So you can tell it thinks. It's coming back and it's rendering. I actually didn't pause that. That actually came back faster than I expected it to. But let's see what it says here, because I think it's kind of just giving us some gibberish here. The Pi is definitely spinning up. Those fan turbines just turned on. So let's see what it comes with and let's see what the ending rating is. Okay, so that seriously took 11 minutes and 54 seconds. Now, it did work. Technically it did work, but this obviously would be nowhere near any kind of production ready, because with 11 minutes and 54 seconds to generate one answer at 1.57 tokens per second, that's definitely not going to be fast enough for anything useful. So I'm going to continue to, I keep doing that. I'm going to continue to work on this. I'm going to bring you 2 different ways. One, I'm also working with a contractor to try to get the NPU programmed up so that it can be using this, because with the NPU, we should be able to run somewhere right around that 7 billion model. However, and then another thing is there is a way you can actually attach an external graphics card onto it. So make sure you like and subscribe, because I'm going to continue to build on this. So stay tuned, because there's going to be even more of these videos. And as always, if your company needs help building out software, reach out to us, because I work as a fractional CTO with companies to help them build software so that companies work like a well-oiled machine. And here's another offer we have for you.
Want to become a software developer but don't want to spend 4 years in college and rack up massive student loan debts? Think you need technical expertise to get started? started? Welcome to Startup Hack, a better way to start your software career without student loans and years without income. One-on-one tutoring is included so you never get stuck and have guidance through the whole process. No technical experience is necessary. Learn at your own pace and in your own space. Startup Hack has worked with local state agencies in your area to make it so that qualifying students can get the program costs covered entirely and students can start earning while they learn.
Startup Hack's .NET Coding Bootcamp was a game changer for my career. As someone with no prior programming experience, I was initially intimidated by the idea of learning to code, but the instructors at Startup Hack broke down complex concepts into easy to understand lessons and provided hands-on projects that really cemented my understanding. The curriculum was comprehensive and up to date and got me ready for my first job. What really set Startup Hack apart was the focus on practical, real-world skills. Thanks to Startup Hack, I landed my dream job as a .NET developer within weeks of graduating. I went from knowing nothing about code to building professional-grade web applications in just a few intense months. If you're looking to break into .NET development or level up your coding skills, I cannot recommend Startup Hack enough.
Complete our 3-month coding bootcamp, gain hands-on experience, and land a paid internship. With 2 years of experience on average, our graduates are making over $80,000 per year. The 3-month program includes technologies from Microsoft, Google, and Facebook. No debt, just a quick path to earning. Check out startuphack.com to code your future and